Hey guys, it's me, Emily Joy. That's my cat, Lucy, and other white people. We need to talk about something. We need to talk about the safety pin thing. I know you're probably thinking, oh boy, here comes Emily, about to ruin something for us again, just like she always does. And yes, I am about to ruin it for you. But I am not going to ruin it and leave you with no alternative. So hang in there with me and let's see what we can get done. If you've been living under a rock in the last week, the safety pin thing is where people, mostly white people, wear a safety pin on their shirt to let others know that they are safe and that they'll intervene if someone does something that's racist, sexist, homophobic, etc., right? So that sounds like a great idea. Well, there are a couple of problems with this, and I will just get right down to it. Number one, putting on a safety pin makes you safe about as much as going swimming makes you a fish. So, for example, there are people right now who voted for He Who Must Not Be Named that are proudly sporting a safety pin, which if you voted for that man, that makes you explicitly unsafe because you saw all the racist and sexist and homophobic things that he did and said and still thought that that was an okay person to lead our country. Sorry, not sorry. I also talked to a guy earlier this week with a safety pin in his profile picture who was telling me that reverse racism is real and white people don't have to listen to people of color if they're being too mean about talking about injustice. I even saw someone earlier today defending safety pins, saying she didn't care if people of color didn't like them because her white female and white LGBTQ friends thought they were great. Yeah, so you can call yourself safe all you want, but that doesn't actually make it so. Safety is demonstrated through actions and through relationships, not through external symbols. 2, putting on a safety pin without listening to the very real concerns and objections of people of color who have been voicing their thoughts is an exercise in the white privilege that got us here in the first place. So in the description to this video, I am going to link to a whole bunch of the articles and the discussions that have been most helpful for me and my understanding of this in the last week or so. But basically, when I've been having these discussions with other white people and I have linked to thoughts and articles from people of color, these white people that I've been talking to have reacted with disdain, with disgust, with anger, with dismissal, and that, frankly, is kind of gross. In situations where we're talking about justice and allyship, you should always, always, always defer to people who are more marginalized than you because they're the people who will be most impacted by the consequences of all of this. And to be honest with you, I know not everybody feels this way, but from where I'm standing at this point, wearing a safety pin is basically equivalent to wearing a giant cardboard sign that says, hey, I don't know how to listen to people of color. So there's that too. And then finally, 3, putting on a safety pin is a safe show of solidarity, but it's not necessarily disruptive to existing power structures. So last night I went to a meeting of the Showing Up for Racial Justice Nashville chapter, and they were teaching us about safe versus disruptive actions. So safe actions can be nice, and they're not even all unhelpful, but they mostly serve to make people feel better. Disruptive actions, on the other hand, actually do something to change the existing power structures and the status quo. So if you wear a safety pin as a white person, that might make you feel like you're doing something good, but you have to recognize that that action in itself isn't changing anything. And I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings by saying this because I know that people are going to leave me comments like, how dare you, this is divisive, I'm just trying to let people know that I'm a safe person, etc., etc. And hear me when I say I want to honor that desire. The fact that you want to let people know that you are a safe person is great. What I'm trying to say is that that message is getting lost in the mail when you wear a safety pin. Or, as my friend Trisha put it, she said, if someone is being harassed, it's absolutely not their responsibility to look for a safety pin, and if no one is being harassed, then the safety pin is just a cookie for yourself to make you feel good about self-identifying as a nice white person. And that might sound harsh, but the important thing is to remember that intention never outweighs impact. And coddling people's intentions without interrogating the impact that their action makes is a huge part of the problem that we're in right now. So, what can you do instead? Glad you asked. One super duper important thing is to educate yourself. Read, Google, Find your white friends who also want to learn more and do better, and sure as heck, do not expect a person of color to hold your hand and walk you through it. I am around, and my messages are always open, so I would be happy to have discussions with you about this. I would also encourage you to find out if your city or a city close to you has a local chapter of Showing Up for Racial Justice. They are an organization of white folks who are helping to organize other white folks in support of people of color-led movements for racial justice through trainings, through workshops, through campaigns and direct actions, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So go to those meetings, or another racial justice workshop. Invite your white friends, talk to your family, make them uncomfortable at Thanksgiving. Those are things that you can actively do rather than just a symbol that you passively wear. And honestly, like, I'm right there with you, still learning how to do a lot of those things well. It is a journey, but we have to take it, and there's no opting out. So, like I said, I'm going to link to resources in the video description. Read them, sit with them. If they make you uncomfortable, lean into that. Ask yourself why, rather than automatically reacting out of defensiveness, and maybe put your safety pin back in the kitchen junk drawer with your rubber bands and your batteries. Okay, that's all for now. I'm out.